everyone, and welcome to week 2 of our Sunday School mini-series, The Good Life. Quick over the video requirements again. They haven't changed. Still gotta pay attention because I'll have a Kahoot quiz. Gotta take notes, I'll check them. And again, if you need a notebook, let me know. And then come up with 1 to 2 questions per video because we'll discuss them. In this series summary for week 3, we're going to talk about how if you want the good life, you gotta treat today like it matters. Okay, let's get into our lesson. I'm so glad you're here with me today because we're talking about something that I think we all want to know a little more about: living the good life. What is the good life? It's living a happy, fun, overall awesome life. And what's so cool is that the good life, the kind of life God has for us, is something that's available to all of us. You can do a lot right now, even as middle schoolers, to help set yourselves on the path to living your best life. Now, some of you might be sitting here thinking, I have to do something to live this good life? I already have a lot of things to do, with school and sports and following the rules at home. I don't have any more time or energy left to do another thing that requires hard work. Trust me, I get it. But take a look at this motivational video.
Magic bill. There is no magic out there. When people say we don't have the time, we have 24 hours a day. Imagine if you would work on the business that you want to develop every day for an hour. Imagine how further along you will go and get. Don't keep me this thing, I don't have time for this, I don't have that. You have time. You make the time.
People talk about working hard and working smart. The answer is only both. You have to work hard and smart based on your ambition. If you want to build a business for yourself, that is like a 1% life. That's very special. Trying to build a business for yourself, everybody's doing now. Pulling it off is hard. Trying to play basketball, everybody can try. Being an NBA player, trying to be a rapper or a singer, everybody's doing. Pulling it off. Trying to be a footballer, an actress. So you're trying, great. Pulling it off is hard. It takes everything. Time and smarts.
It's not about the running, the swimming, the push-ups, the sit-ups. It's about what those things do for your mentality. You don't get better on the daggone couch.
So you've been there, right? Doing something hard and hoping it'll pay off in the end? We all know what it feels like to work hard towards something. And honestly, I don't think any of us would say that it feels like the good life. When we think about living the good life, we picture ourselves at the end of all that hard work, just kicking back and enjoying the payoff, reaching all those goals. Maybe you're the type of person who talks about your goals openly. Or maybe you're too scared to even write them down in a journal because someone might see them. Regardless, the reality is this. We all have dreams about what's next. We all have goals that we want to achieve to help us live the good life. But when we picture them, we just picture the finish line. We tend to forget that in order to get there, we actually have to do the hard work. But let's be real. Hard work isn't really anybody's idea of a good time. It's not something most of us would probably even say we enjoy. And a lot of the time, we do just about anything to avoid it, because we all have things that stop us from working hard. For some of us, working hard means people will find out you actually care about something, and sometimes it's cooler to look like you don't care, isn't it? For others, hard work means putting in the effort, but not getting the results we want. It means disappointment, and nobody wants to experience that, so maybe it's better not to try at all. Sometimes all that hard work feels hopeless. We're putting in so much time and effort towards something, and we just can't see the end result yet. And when the results don't come as quickly as we'd hoped, we start to feel as if they'll never come at all. Or maybe for you, it's not that you're trying to avoid hard work. It's just that something better came along to distract you. We've all been there. We wanted to remember to finish our chores before our parents got home. But then that new show on Netflix came out and we got lost in the binge watch. We had every intention of starting that project early instead of the night before it was due, but then our friends wanted to hang out every day after school and the project got pushed aside. We had planned to get in those extra practices before tryouts, but it was summer and that meant it was time to relax. Listen, I totally get it. When it comes to hard work, I feel all that and more. I plan to work hard for the things that are important to me. Sometimes I even start to do it. But then, well, I just kind of don't. And what happens? Well, I get frustrated by the results. I find myself thinking, man, I was going to do that, but... Can we just stop here and imagine what the world would look like if everyone lived like this? With this I was going to approach to hard work and responsibility? If the people you depended on began opting out of their responsibilities because they found something more fun to do? Because something distracted them? Or frustrated them about hard work? What if your coach had every intention of going to practice but decided to stay home and play video games for a week right before the big game? Your team's chances of winning the championship would be pretty low. Or what if your parents had planned to go to the grocery store and make dinner, but they got frustrated with the effort it required, so they just decided not to do it? Your whole family would be super hungry. Or what if, like, Pastor Mickey decided not to show up to worship one Sunday and just decided to hang out with her granddaughter Bella instead? Be pretty disappointing, right? I don't think the congregation would be too happy. When it comes to following through with plans or putting in the effort to make things happen, we often choose what seems easy or fun over taking ownership of our responsibilities. But where does that get us? Well, I can tell you where it doesn't get us, and that's closer to the good life. So what do? If hard work is just that, hard, then what do we do to help us get motivated to do it? If it's going to help us live the good life, how do we keep ourselves doing it? In the Bible, there are a lot of stories about a king named, yeah, you guessed it, Solomon. He was known as the wisest man to have ever lived, and a lot of the wisdom God gave him is written down in a book of the Bible called Proverbs. A proverb is a truth about the way life generally works. It's not exactly a promise. It's a principle, kind of like a guiding rule. Now, Solomon's proverbs aren't 100% guarantees, but since he was the wisest man ever, God definitely gave him insight into how the world works. So Solomon would have known about the paths that most often lead to the good life. And I think the wisdom Solomon shared in the proverb we're looking at today can help us a lot when it comes to this struggle with hard work. Here's what it says. Take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones. Learn their ways and become wise. Though they have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work, they labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. Have you ever seen a colony of ants gathering food for the winter and taking it to their nest? It's pretty incredible. Before we go any further, let's take a look. Okay, so ants are cool and all. I mean, do you see them trying to move that big piece of food? It was like 10 times the size of their body. But what do they have to do with you and your good life goals? Well, everything. You see, at first glance, ants don't seem all that smart. They're tiny and scurry around in what seems like no direction. But believe it or not, they're actually really wise. They work super hard all summer, gathering and storing food for the winter. They know that when winter comes, food will be hard to find. So if they work hard now, they'll see the benefits later. Now, your idea of the good life might not involve working in the hot sun to store up food for the winter, but you do have goals and dreams, and in order to reach them, you have to put in the work. Your homework and chores won't get done unless you do them. The French horn won't magically learn how to play itself, and you can't really show up to your soccer game and expect to make the winning goal without putting in some practice first. If you want your future to look a certain way, you have to put in the hard work first. What would happen if the ants we read about didn't work hard all summer to store food? They'd starve when winter came. And what will happen if you don't put in the hard work when it comes to your goals and responsibilities? Well, you may not starve, but you'll probably miss out on some of the great things in life. If you don't do your chores, then you won't get to hang out with your friends. If you don't do your homework, you might not get the grades needed to pass your class. And if you don't babysit your little sister or brother, you won't earn the money to buy that amazing pair of shoes you've been eyeing. You see, the goals and outcomes you want for your good life are connected to the work you put in today. So if you want the good life, treat today like it matters. Now, putting in hard work doesn't always guarantee you'll get what you've been working toward. You might study super hard for that test and still fail. You might do drills every day and still not win your tennis match. You might not ever save up enough money to buy those amazing vans you've been wanting. But does that mean we shouldn't put in the work to try and attain our good life? No. God doesn't want us to live in the in-between of dreaming and living. He wants us to pursue His best for us. He wants us to treat today like it matters, like it impacts our future. He wants us to chase after and live the good life. But the difference between wanting the good life and living the good life is doing something about it rather than just talking about it. And it can start today. Remember, if you want the good life, treat today like it matters. If you want to enjoy the benefits of your hard work one day, you've got to own your responsibilities and put in the work today. When you choose to put effort into certain areas of your life, that's choosing to pursue the good life. When you put effort into getting your assignment done on time, you may or may not get the grade, but what you will gain is the discipline it takes to get the job done. When you put work into prepping for your soccer game or choir concert, you learn to recognize what doing your best looks like. Every single one of us is on a path towards something in life right now. So start this week by asking yourself, what's one goal I have? What's one thing I want to accomplish in my life? In this year? In this week? Is it making the team or passing your math test or even just being kinder to your siblings? Whatever it is, identify that thing in your life. Then ask yourself this next question. What hard work do I need to put in to help me get there? Is it setting aside some much needed practice time? Is it setting a reminder to make sure you study? Maybe you need to make time to spend with your brother or sister. Whatever it is, there's something in your life that requires more effort to help you get where you want to go. And in order to get to the good life in that one area, you're going to have to put in the work. Because what you do today impacts the future life you'll lead. If you want the good life, treat today like it matters, because it does. We all have areas in our lives that we could stand to put a little more effort into. So as we end this video, I want you to think about the question of the week. What's one area in my life where I struggle to put in hard work? Answer this question in your notes, and we'll see you on Sunday.